One of my favorite bears, it's Mr. Chocolate. Hi, Mr. Chocolate.
I had two questions to answer. Who is Timothy Treadwell?
Animals rule. Timothy conquered.
And why was he doing what he was doing?
Come here and try to do what I do. You will die. You will die here.
I really don't want to write a book about a dead man.
Mike Lipinski lives in Superior and is the author of 13 wildlife books. His most recent work is entitled Death in the Grizzly Maze, the Timothy Treadwell story.
You want to like him. He's very coy and shy and gregarious and outgoing and everything you like in a person, a real ladies' man. Yeah, he has a magnetic personality.
Timothy Treadwell grew up in Southern California but got hooked on drugs as a teenager and says he overdosed.
It's an honor to be in this field, in this place.
On a whim, he drove his motorcycle some 4,000 miles north and ended up in Katmai National Park on the Alaskan Peninsula, a city boy camping with grizzlies.
I believe that he really felt that he had integrated himself into the bear society, and that his life as a human was so bad, he had such a low opinion of himself, that he wished he was a bear.
So now I am going to pretend to be a bear and try to dig one of these razorback clams.
For 13 summers, Treadwell not only videotaped himself in the remote Alaskan wilderness,
You okay? You are beautiful, you know that?
but got closer and closer and closer to grizzly bears.
Hi, Squiggle. Hi, Squiggle. Wow. There is no doubt that the bear, within a second, has the power to terminate any human. With a flick of its paw, can decapitate. But it is mostly a very shy animal, and it is not the killer that it has been purported to be. I talk sweetly to them. Sometimes I sing songs to them. I love you. I love you. When you sing to an animal, you bring out the nice in you. You bring out the calm. You become gentle. Animals can pick up on that gentleness.
He was trying to say that you could be friends with them and become part of a family unit by showing them love, telling you love them, which is foolishness. Many times he foretold of his own death.
I will die for these animals.
He once said he would be honored to end up as a bear dropping.
I will die for these animals. I will die for these animals.
It's almost like he had a death wish.
Uh-oh, he's coming right at me. Got a small problem here.
Intentionally face-to-face with massive Alaskan brown bears, Timothy Treadwell seemingly dodged death time and time again.
He just wanted to make sure to see what I was and if I was a competitor anyway.
If people don't stop you from doing things that are wrong, you actually can't start believing it.
I am one of them and just belong. Mm-hmm. And they know I'm safe and do not compete. Okay. And they need the care.
He just was crazy enough that people thought he was genius.
Other encounters showed Treadwell was not as welcome as he thought.
Well, what you just saw is something I hate to do, and that is to discipline a bear. But I think my life depended on it. I think that bear was going to come in and destroy this tent, and me with it. Everything seems to be cool right now.
That is, until the summer of 2003, when he invited new girlfriend Amy Huguenard to visit him. They would never be seen alive again. Pilot Willie Bolton arrived to pick them up on October 6th, but they weren't there.
Pretty nasty-looking bear that I had seen here before is just sneaking slow with his head down. Just the meanest-looking thing, coming through the brush. And so I jumped on the airplane real quick and untied it and took off, turned around, flew over camp there. Just looked down and saw a human rib cage, that I knew had to be either Tim or Amy laying there. And every time I would come over, he'd just start eating faster and faster and crouch over this rib cage.
No one knows exactly what happened, but park rangers found Treadwell's camera with the lens cap still on and 6 minutes of tape that revealed the horrifying final moments of their lives.
It's probably the worst thing I've listened to in my career.
And I heard shouts. Amy was shouting. Timothy was moaning, growling, and trying to speak.
He called Amy, come out here and hit this bear over the head with a frying pan. It's killing me.
The level of her screams, the intensity of the screams increased, and then the tape stopped.
He called the woman who trusted him out to her death.
Also dead, 2 threatening bears shot to death by rangers, including this one, found with Treadwell's remains in its stomach.
You're supposed to protect them, but his actions got them killed.
So after 13 summers among the grizzlies, Timothy Treadwell's life of irony comes to an end.
I want to stress to all people to give brown grizzly bears as much room as possible. And in fact, if people do mimic what I do, I think people would get hurt.
He says grizzlies are really gentle giants, and to prove it, he lives with them. He also talks and sings and crawls with them. Part Dr. Dolittle, part Grizzly Adams.
Stone Phillips, a great reporter, but yet he never called anyone and say, hey, is this right?
People also thought that Timothy Treadwell was part Indiana Jones, part Dr. Dolittle.
They just showed whatever Timothy said was right, because he was connected with Hollywood.
It's a beautiful thing what you do, by the way, and I admire you for it, and I wish you great success.
And that whole show was a fabrication. None of it was biological accuracy.
Timothy Treadwell used his camera to capture incredible video images.
Oh, he's a big bear. He's a big bear. A very big bear. Wow.
But his on-camera behavior both raised eyebrows and built his reputation.
He got recognition, and people were giving him accolades and telling what a fantastic person he was and a bear whisperer. And after a while, he started really believing it.
So did others, like the Hollywood crowd, which funded his expeditions and publicized his way of life.
It's so funny to me. Timothy just said he's nervous. You live with grizzly bears.
Yes.
And you're nervous of my little talk show.
Yes, I'm afraid of everybody.
Oh, but give him a warm round of applause.
As Treadwell's fame grew, so too did his bizarre behavior.
Time for me to go in my gorilla-style camouflage outfit.
What I found out a bit about Timothy Treadwell from many sources, he was bipolar. It's a neurological disorder, which means you're way high, way low, manic, depressive.
I love you. I love you.
We need more rain! Melissa is eating her babies! I certainly can't seem to stay calm in a city, or in the rest of my life, but I stay pretty 007 James Bond cool out here. I do say so myself.
A person who gets medical treatment for bipolar disorder, you can't tell any difference. They're just fine. But if you don't have it, you tend to be grandiose and create your own reality. He got medical help and he got pills, but he wouldn't take them.
My biggest duty is to watch over them about poachers.
Really?
Yeah, people will try to kill them either for a trophy, for a thrill kill, which is very sad, really bums me out.
The fact is, there hasn't been any poaching in Katmai National Park for more than 2 decades.
I came here and protected the animals as best I could. In fact, I'm the only protection for these animals out here.
Everything he said in public seemed to be untrue.
In Yellowstone, they're trying to delist the bear right now.
Really?
Yes, and they're going to, as soon as it's delisted from the threatened list, they're going to begin a sport hunt, just a thrill kill.
Timothy Treadwell's legacy, in my opinion, is that he was a flawed person who needed help.
Come here and try to do what I do. You will die. You will die here.
He was a madman. Everybody thought the madness was genius, and he went along for the ride with it.
Timothy, I'm getting a bad feeling about you.
The greatest tragedy of the Timothy Treadwell story is that he could have done